Well, there is a company which is listed on the country's stock exchange. The following individuals were on the board of directors. A is the non-executive director and the chairman of the company. B is the CEO and is responsible for day-to-day running of the company. C is the professional accountant and serves as non-executive director. D is the finance director and is an employee of the company. E is the legal advocate and serves as a non-executive director. F is the marketing director of another manufacturing company and serves as a non-executive director. Which of the following is most appropriate composition of the directors of audit committee? Option A, C, D, E. Option B, A, Mr. B, Mr. F. Option C, Mr. A, Mr. E, Mr. F. Option D, Mr. C, Mr. E and Mr. F. Now we have to check what is the composition of what audit committee. Here we see that in audit committee all the directors should be non-executive directors and who are independent. Executive director forms not part of audit committee. So the correct option is option D, Mr. C, Mr. E and Mr. F. Because Mr. A is the non-executive director and is the chairman, which is like an executive director of the company. So Mr. A should not be there. This eliminates option B and option C. Mr. B is the CEO of the company. CEO is also again a executive director. So option B eliminates. Mr. C is the professional accountant, which is not a executive director. So Mr. C is the correct option. Mr. D is the finance director. As per the audit committee, one director should be from finance or he should have a proper relevant skills understanding the finance. So Mr. D can be one of the option. Mr. E is the legal advocate and serves as a non-executive director, which is again a part of your audit committee. Mr. F is a marketing director, means he is an executive director, but he is the executive director of another manufacturing company and not of our company. So in this case, Mr. D, that is option D, is the correct option. So Mr. C, Mr. E and Mr. F should be the directors, members of the audit committee. Well, now we are moving to the question 2. Which of the following is the duty of the secretary of a listed public company? Option A, maintaining order at board meetings. Option B, clarifying the terms of reference of the board meetings. Option C, ensuring that all the directors contribute fully to the discussion at the board meetings. Option D, reporting to the board on operational performance for the last quarter. Well, maintaining order at a board meetings. Well, this is the responsibility of a CE chairman and not of a CEO. This is the responsibility of the chairman and not of a CEO and also not of the secretary. So this option is eliminated because we are asked the duty of the secretary. Moving to the option B, clarifying the terms of a reference of the board meetings. Well, this can be the duty of the secretary. So we have to keep it. Let's see option C, ensuring that all the directors contribute fully to the discussion at board meetings. Well, this is again the responsibility of the chairman and not of a secretary and CEO. Option D, reporting to the board on operational performance for the last quarter. Well, this is the responsibility of the chief executive officer and not of a secretary and not of a chairman. So again this option D is eliminated. So the correct option can be option B, clarifying the terms of the reference at the board meetings. Alright, moving with another question. The board of directors of company has decided to increase the basic salary of the CEO by 20 cents in order to bring her pay into line with those of the occupying similar positions in the industry. And there are 4 options. Option A states, improves the prospects of retaining the CEO. Option B, increase the productivity of CEO by at least 20 cents. Option C, motivate the CEO to achieve long-term targets. And option D, create greater satisfaction for the CEO. Let's see now. The basic pay offered by a company serves as a beacon to attract applicants and can also deter the present incumbent of a position from seeking opportunities elsewhere, especially if they perceive themselves to be underpaid at present. A substantial pay increase is likely to achieve a significant increase in productivity or increase long-term motivation. True pay increases can have a short-term impact on motivation. Job satisfaction is derived from various factors other than remuneration, such as challenges inherent in the work and the nature of the task performed. So the correct answer is answer A. Option A.